Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the top 8 cheapest but best cars to own in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Now, a lot of times YouTubers do these videos, they're only talking about sports cars most of the time. We're going to be covering almost every category. We're going to be doing off-road, we're going to be doing muscle, and armored vehicles, because if you're trying to save money, you should try to save money in every category, not just a single category. So obviously, if you enjoy this type of content and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But let's get straight into it. The first vehicle we are going to start off with is the Duke of Death. This is the only armored vehicle coming into the list, as all the other armored vehicles cost upwards of $500 to over $1 million. But thankfully, the Duke, for returning players, is absolutely free as well if you own the Criminal Enterprise Starter Pack. And judging that almost every GTA you buy nowadays comes with it, it's pretty hard not to get the Duke of Death for free. This vehicle is actually quite fast, having a top speed around 120. It's got pretty decent handling, and one of the amazing things about the Duke, the ability to smash every vehicle off the road in front of you without losing any of your speed. Another great thing about the Duke is because it's armored, it not only has bullet protection, but missile protection. This vehicle, while driving it, survives up to 6 homing missiles, which is actually really tanky. This is a car I would highly suggest to use, even though it is cheap, for good players in the game. It's great, it's fast, it's got great protection, the back is completely bulletproof. I mean, why wouldn't you use it? Next up on the list, we have the Schafter V12, coming in at a price tag of $116,000. I would honestly say that out of all of the vehicles I'm going to talk about when it comes to the sports class, this is the one you should buy first. The Schafter is not only an incredibly fast vehicle, having a top speed of 124 miles per hour, actually making it the fastest sports car out of all the vehicles in the list, but as well, the Schafter is a 4-seater, which means if you're doing heist or you have a lot of friends that you want to transport somewhere, this is one of the only vehicles in the sports class that is actually incredibly fast and has 4 doors. Honestly, the Schafter is a vehicle I still use, even though this account I have has over $700 million on it. It's just an absolutely amazing vehicle. Plus, it's got that V12, which sounds absolutely amazing when you're driving it, and I just think the car looks great. Let me know what you think about the Schafter V12 in the comments down below, but if you don't own this car, I would highly suggest you do think about getting it. Keeping with the sports class, we move on up to the Obey 9F. This is very clearly based off of an Audi R8. I actually really like the design and look of this vehicle, but I should point out in this list of vehicles, it is not the fastest or the best on handling, but it's not bad on either of them either. At a price tag of $120,000, it still is very good for everything you're getting. Sitting at a top speed of 119.8 is pretty decent, and when it comes to handling, it's around the 25th best car for handling in the game currently. Not bad, judging that there are over 60 sports cars available, but also nothing amazing. The only real reason I would say to buy this car is if you like the look of it, because it will do what all the other sports cars do. Get you from point A to point B in a fairly fast time while looking pretty cool. And if that's your goal, then I think that this car is definitely the car for you. This next car is overlooked by a lot of good players, but honestly, it really shouldn't be. This is the Canis Elegy RH8, very clearly based off of the Nissan GT-R. When it comes to the price tag, it's absolutely free. And it's not like you have to unlock something, you literally gotta link your social club account to your in-game account. It's very easy to do, and you get the car for free. And it's an amazing vehicle. Top speed, maybe not the best, 118.5 miles per hour. But when it comes to handling, this vehicle actually has amazing handling. It's the 9th best lap time sports car currently in the game. And that's quite impressive, judging that this car came out so long ago. It still manages to hold a pretty good time. So I will say, for racing, great vehicle. Only really bad on the races that are more like stunt jumps, that are quite long maps, that have big straightaways. But if you're doing anything with handling or just trying to drive to a friend, an amazing vehicle, looks great, sounds great. I think the Elegy is a fantastic vehicle, especially for the price of free. This next sports car I actually personally prefer over the Elegy, being the Feltzer. This is a $145,000 sports car, and it's pretty similar on its statistics to the Elegy. It has a top speed of 119.5, and it has a lap time of 11th in the sports class, so it's basically the same performance you're gonna get from the Elegy. I just think that it looks a lot nicer. I really like the look of a Mercedes, and I love that big ol' wang slapped on the back. So when it comes to the Feltzer, I just think it's an amazing looking vehicle, sounds great. But as I said, if you're just looking for pure performance, you're gonna save $145,000 getting your hands on an Elegy. And leaving off with our final sports car, we have the Masacro. This is the most expensive vehicle on the list, and at least it has a reason. It's a Ferrari. $275,000. And honestly, that sounds expensive compared to all the other vehicles we've talked about, but to be real, I still consider this a fairly cheap car in the year of 2022. You can earn $275,000 at this point by doing heist setups. So the Masacro, for such a cheap price tag, is honestly an amazing vehicle. Top speed of 122 miles per hour, and it's in the top 20th of lap times when it comes to sports cars. So it doesn't have the best handling, but it definitely makes up when it comes to top speed and acceleration as well. I do think that this is the nicest looking out of all the sports cars we've talked about, the best sounding. I really do love the Masacro. In fact, this is a car I still regularly drive on my account. If you're trying to look for a car that not only has top speed, acceleration, handling, but also looks the part, then the Masacro is the way to go. But if you don't really care about the way your car looks and you're just trying to get handling so you can do races, still go with the Elegy. You might think that the fastest car in today's video is a sports car. Well, surprisingly, it's not. It's a free muscle car, the Pisswasser Dominator. It boasts a top speed of 126.5 miles per hour. That is incredibly fast, and when it comes to the muscle class, it carries the second best handling in the game. It's actually insane how good the Pisswasser Dominator is, especially when you factor in that the car is free. I would say that 99% of players underrate this car. In fact, it probably deserves a whole video all on its own. You should definitely own this vehicle, and judging that it's free, there's literally no reason not to. But man, what an amazing muscle car it is. I also wanted to add an off-roader to this list, and the Mesa checks off all the boxes. First of all, it's fairly cheap at $87,000. It also looks absolutely amazing, and the light bar works. I know that's like a childish thing to say, but it's honestly pretty rare for Rockstar to add working light bars in Grand Theft Auto Online. It actually really irritates me when you can put like a light bar as an accessory and then it doesn't turn on. It is so angering. But the Mesa, it's got great lights, it's super good at off-roading, and it's also fairly fast. Now, obviously, you're not going to be beating any of the other vehicles when it comes to handling or performance, but you're not buying this type of car for that. You're buying it to go off-roading on mountains, having some fun with friends. It's also a four-seater, which means you can always carry extra people if their cars drown in the water. So I think the Mesa is overall a great vehicle for the price tag of as only $87,000. When it comes to being a Jeep, though, you do got to be a little careful, because even though that was a little bit exaggerated on this crash here, Jeeps do like to roll, and especially for a Jeep this high off the ground, yeah, if you take a corner too hard, you might want to have your seatbelt buckled in, because you're going to be rolling a lot. But apart from that, you'll notice the vehicle very easily goes on some of the more rougher off-road courses in the game, like this one here next to Chiliad. It's great. Overall, 10 out of 10 for off-road capabilities, especially, as I said, for such a cheap price tag that it is. Hopefully, as always, you all enjoyed today's video. There are vehicles I left out of the list. I really wanted to put the Coquette in. I really wanted to put a lot of other cheaper vehicles in the list, and a lot of you might disagree. But obviously, as always, this is just my opinions, and hopefully some of these opinions do help you out in the comments down below. Let me know. But other than that, please do consider smashing that subscribe button down below and clicking that like button. I've been appreciating all the support lately, and yeah, hopefully it continues. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!